What just happened at the PGA? What just happened? Oh my gosh, what an upset. What an underdog. Wow. Was it greater than the Miracle on Ice or Buster Douglas knocking out Mike Tyson? What about Kurt Warner when he goes from stacking shelves in a grocery store to leading the greatest show on turf and winning the Super Bowl? All great underdogs, but Rocky Balboa? The new Rocky Balboa, well, is Aaron Rai. That's right, the winner of the PGA Championship, the second major of the year. He wins it, and he played 6 under on the final 10 holes. I want to tell you a lot of things about this guy, but he's got one lesson that you need to learn, and you need to embrace it. That's kind of why I'm wearing this Hogan cap and buttoning up my shirt, because we're going to talk about what he learned and how it relates to the greatest golf swing of all time, Ben Hogan. Wow. Here's how he won. And remember, this guy, Aaron Rai, Englishman from parents from India, he is of Indian descent. He played the par 5s in 6 under. It's pretty good. He's a pro. He already played 6 under. Rory played him. Even if Rory played him 6 under, Rory is the PGA Championship and wins the first 2 majors of the year. What's the difference? Well, about 60 to 75 yards off the tee. That's right. Aaron Rai is 160th. 160th. 159 players are ahead of him in driving the golf ball in terms of length. And of course, Rory's right up there at the top. So how did this little short hitter beat one of the greatest ball strikers of all time in Rory McIlroy? We're going to talk to you about that because that is so important. This is a great upset. The superstars win the majors. Did you know the last 10 major championships, Rory and Scotty have won 5 of them. Toss in Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, the majority of the majors are always won by superstars. So, let's give congratulations. My Aaron Rai certainly deserves it, and he gave us a lesson all of us have to learn, and that is keep the ball in play. Keep it in play. How do you do that? Well, that brings us back to Ben Hogan. Here's a lesson that we're going to share. We're going to go out to the range. We're going to talk about the best way ever to have the swing that keeps the ball in play. Let's go to the range and see the best tip ever. And it involves just a little piece of glass. You, a pane of glass. You go, well, I can understand why you're holding a pane of glass, Ironman, because, well, golf's a pain for me. You know what? It's a pain for every one of us. If you've never said, I hate this game, I'm never going to play golf again, you throw down your clubs, and then 5 minutes later you begin to assemble them back and put them in the bag, and the game's got you hooked. But let's use this pane of glass to understand Hogan's greatest lesson for you. And it has to do with the plane of the golf swing. For Hogan, the golf ball is here. He is here. His shoulders are right up against the pane of glass, and his head is protruding through. This pane of glass, my head is sticking over it, and down there is the golf ball. The top of the golf ball is the pane of glass extended. So your whole swing is always under this pane of glass. Incidentally, we said about it being a pain. I want to tell you this, golf's such a pain. Hogan almost quit. He was making absolutely no money. He's traveling with his wife, Valerie, and they were down, get this, they had no money for food. They were just eating oranges in Northern California, and he finished in 6th place in the Oakland Open. He won $283, something like that, able to eat again, put some gas in the car, and that started Ben Hogan on his way. Remember what I said, golf, you don't fail, you just quit too soon. Stay with it. But let's get back to this great Hogan lesson about the plane and the pane of glass. The ball set right there, and then this is the plane of the golf swing. So the entire time that you're swinging, on the backswing, on the downswing, on the follow through, you are under this pane of glass. How does that help? Well, it eliminates the three basic mistakes that most middle and high handicappers make. The three mistakes that you make is the lift. Okay, if you're going to, let's say you're making your swing and you've got this habit of getting about here and then you lift up, so the swing looks like this, well, you're going to break the plane of glass. You're going to break the plane of glass. So you go back, and instead of lifting, you stay right here, and as you turn, you come back under this plane and finish. You've gotten rid of that error. The next mistake that more than half golfers make is their power side, which is the right shoulder for right-handers, the left shoulder for left-handers. You want to hit the ball, and you're so anxious with this right shoulder that the swing looks something like that. And you can tell I shattered the pane of glass because I came back, bang, I hit the glass, bang, I hit the glass, just hit it everywhere. So if that right shoulder is a problem, you concentrate keeping that right shoulder, or the power shoulder if you're left-handed, underneath that plane of glass, so the swing begins to, even if you're driving the right shoulder, looks like this. And doesn't that look better visually? You know it's a better swing. And then I don't know how to explain this, but gosh, I think it's older golfers. The hangback swing, where it looks like that. You say, how in the world does that help? Well, if you're hang back, you're right here, you're already broken the plane of glass. You're going like this, and it's just absolutely miserable. So it stops the lift, it stops the power shoulder, and it stops the hang back. Learn from Hogan's greatest lesson, and it will help you more than any other tip you have ever received. Swing under that plane of glass, on the backswing, at impact, and on the follow through, and you will be absolutely amazing. Aaron Rai, a winner of the PGA Championship. Hats off, congratulations. He is absolutely amazing. Yes, it wasn't that fun to talk about Ben Hogan and that plane of glass. Just remember those lessons from Hogan, and you'll keep the ball in play off the tee. Boy, Roy McIlroy would have loved to have learned that lesson in this championship, right? So, is Aaron Rai the next Ben Hogan? Well, no, but he is the next Aaron Rai. He won't dominate, but he's, next U.S. Open, next tight golf course, got to be one of the favorites. He's a very nice guy on tour. He's got a wonderful wife who's also a pro. I love the story. Did you hear about, he came up from very modest upbringing in England. Like we said, his parents of Indian descent, he is. And they worked hard, really hard, sacrificed, and the dad bought him a very expensive set of clubs. Family couldn't afford it, obviously, but he did. He bought him an expensive set of clubs, and they polished those clubs every single evening. And he even does something that really only high handicappers do when they get a new set of clubs. He has iron covers for his irons, just to remember how precious it was to have that new set of clubs. So again, hats off, congratulations to Aaron Rai. But let's get back to golf's Ironman and our picks, what we do for all the major championships. How did we do for Aronimec? Well, give us a B. We didn't pick Aaron Rai, but nobody did. He was just a long shots. We, of course, talked about Rory, Scotty, Chris Gotterup, Ricky Fowler. All of them had their moments, and all of them probably had a chance, and they can think about it, that they had a chance to win. We told you Tommy Fleetwood probably would not make the cut. Tommy Fleetwood did not make the cut. So all in all, not too bad. Not as good as we like to do. And speaking of like to do, here's something I want to do right now. I want to share with you a wonderful story. I said about Miracle on Ice, Herb Brooks, the Olympic hockey team that beat the Russians and then won the Olympic gold medal in 1980. Herb's wife, Patty Brooks, good friend of mine. We were in high school together, same class. Even saw her at the last class reunion. Just think the world of Patty Brooks. Herb and I was a sportscaster in Minneapolis, St. Paul. When he was announced as the Olympic hockey coach, I'd never really heard of him because I didn't follow collegiate hockey that much, didn't know that he was the coach of the Golden Gophers, but he wins the Olympics. They make a movie about him called Miracle on Ice, starring Kurt Russell. The other day, I was walking onto the range to hit my usual 3.5, 4 hours of ball striking, and I heard someone talk about miracle, and turned around. It was a friend of mine, acquaintance, Steve, and I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, Miracle on Ice." So that's what I thought he was talking about. He said, "Greatest film ever." I mean, didn't mince words. I have seen it at least 50 times. Well, I haven't seen any movie 50 times, but he said it. And I said, "I got an interesting story for you. If you love Herb Brooks and the Miracle on Ice, that story so much." I said, "I knew Herb Brooks. I interviewed him right when he got the job. He wasn't particularly warm to me. And it may have been because, I don't know, that was Herb. He was like Belichick and Parcells and other coaches. Just let me coach." But I did have a warm relationship with his wife, Patty, that I'd known in high school. And like I said, I think she sat behind me in a couple of classes. Just liked her. She was smart. She was fun. She's gorgeous, beautiful young woman. Well, he says, "Wow, you know Patty?" I said, "Yes." He says, that's amazing. I said, "Okay, give me your email." So Steve gave me his email. When I got back home, I just typed an email to Patty Brooks. And I said, "Patty, here's the biggest fan of Miracle on Ice I have ever seen." And she says, "Thanks." She says, "I love fans." She says, "I'll get right back to him." So a day or so later, I'm walking by again. He's talking to a buddy. He goes, hey, guess what? I heard from Patty Brooks and she was so nice. Well, she is that nice. And Miracle on Ice probably was the greatest upset of all time and inspirational story. But Aaron Rai is a great underdog, a wonderful story, and maybe, just maybe, an inspiration. We'll wait and see if they make a movie. Who wins another major? I'll bet they do. Keep watching. This is Bob Kurtz, Golf's Ironman, on our Ironman Golf Cast. See you next time.